you know something's got you rattled if you delete all your content after somebody kind of does an expose. And this is what happened with your boy Zack yesterday after Gamer from Mars put up his 1 hour ComicsGate history, actually showing the beginnings of your boy Zack and just showing his stupid lawsuit grift versus Mark Waid that never went anywhere, that he stole a lot of money from. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you guys want to fund like my comic company for like $100,000, like I'll tell you what we're going to come out with. It's going to be amazing stuff. He just like blew that money. It went away. What happened to it? What happened to the lawsuit? He still really hasn't answered that question to this day, right? And neither has Mark Waid. They settled it out of court. Nothing happened. Wow. Great use of funds. But that's what and that's what ComicsGate ended up becoming under Ethan Van Sciver and your boy Zack. They treated you guys like a piggy bank, like a interest-free loan that was going to be just going to you for over and over and over again. Meanwhile, the people who were actually trying to fight the culture war were kind of axed out by these guys, and they shut us down as hard as possible, tried to get people not to read our books because they know that like if we were discovered, they would be in big trouble. And that's the same case to this day. So at this point, Ethan Van Sciver put up a video response because he's just trying to get some of his people paying attention to it and paying attention to his channel, as his live streams have actually gone down in views quite a bit lately because it's just Eric July is bad, Eric July is bad, Eric July is bad. And your boy Zack took the opposite tack of just like running away. And I think your boy Zack is on the ropes and really almost done with this entire grift that he's been pulling since 2017. He presented himself as the culture warrior, as the guy who's opposing Marvel and DC, but his real goal the entire time was just to break into Marvel and DC. He wanted to work for them more than anything. He's wanted to write X-Men and G.I. Joe since he was a baby, and he just like couldn't get past that as a person. He didn't care about anything else. Now, to him, it wasn't the woke that was the problem. It wasn't the fact that, you have these gay X-Men, Iceman slobbering over some other dude. It was just the fact that it was poorly written, right? And so he had no real convictions for what good storytelling is. And this is a lot of things that like has manipulated a lot of people in the culture in recent years, is that that sort of cultural take of, hey, it's not just the woke, it's the poorly written is one thing. Now, what's actually more insidious than poorly written is the propaganda that's actually well written. And propaganda does not mean poorly written. Propaganda just means they are trying to insert a point and trying to brainwash you into something. Now, poorly written propaganda is very easy to make fun of. It's when the propaganda is actually more well written, or at least more well received, that it actually causes a problem. And we've actually seen this shift in recent years. People are way more tolerant of this exact same crap that people are doing. I talked about it on my main channel about the James Gunn Supergirl movie this year. The Superman, they actually took Perry White, the Superman's editor-in-chief, named White, and turned him into a black man. And nobody said shit about it because, hey, these race swaps of these tertiary characters, it's happened so often. They did Jimmy Olsen in the Supergirl show in the CW. They did, what's his name, Ben Urich back in the Daredevil show in 2015. And again, if it's done okay enough, and if the actor's okay enough, they just are okay with it in that instance. And it's like, guys, it's the same pattern every single time, whether it's well written or not. The point is to erase white people and to erase all of white culture and actually have it replaced. Wake up. That's what Marvel was attempting to do when Axel Alonso came on board and started this diversity initiative. The entire intention was to move the needle and actually move the characters away from white males. That's all. They talked about it. They were open about it. You used to fight it, people. Wake up. And I know a lot of people have just gotten burned out because it just seems like the culture just keeps going that direction over and over and over again. And the people you followed that actually you were hoping would fight it, your boy Zack and Ethan Van Sciver and the like, didn't actually do that. But there's been an alternative the entire time. And of course, there's a couple things. One, the bigger influencers always try to just maintain and try to make sure that things don't get anywhere, and so that you don't actually see the real alternatives. That's always been the case. Number two, the algorithms don't want to promote anything that's really right wing. They want you to actually be pacified by a grifter, because at that point, you're not going to actually make any inroads to change the culture against what the big corporations that Google, Netflix, etc. want to actually perpetuate. And that's exactly what happened through this whole situation. So your boy Zack is rattled. Like I said, he's on his last ropes. He knows at this point He's never going to get a job at Marvel and DC Comics. I think he's coming to that like cycle of grief acceptance stage. And I think that's what's been happening over the last 2 years. And I think that's why he's so mad at Nerdrotic and et cetera, because they've gotten their channels growing. Those guys are obviously just doing what they do, making money at it and just being happy at it. And he's didn't want that. He didn't want to be a YouTuber who was out there tearing up comics and destroying the bad comics. He wanted to be a YouTuber who was going to, change Marvel Comics and get them to see that he really was the one who wrote things. It was all about him the entire time. It wasn't about the movement. And somebody who actually like wants to accomplish something is willing to actually sacrifice himself for the movement and actually not, just do things just for personal gain all the time. That's what we do over here often. And so that's the difference of what's happening all the way around. Now, I did pick up a comic and I wanted to kind of show it off because this is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is called Fantasy Illustrated. It is from back in the day. And as you can see, Steve Englehart, Steve Ditko, there's a lot of Steves in this one. It's got beautiful work in it. And it's got all this cool, little different storylines that you might not have seen before. And as you can see, look at just like this cool black and white drawings and like what used to be done in comics before all this stuff became just the superhero slop craze all the time. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is what comics used to be. Now, Fantasy Illustrated did not last very long, of course, because these are very expensive artists doing very expensive things. And whenever anybody does these kind of, and this is why I got Steve Englehart wrote it. Steve Ditko drew the Djinn, and he's the guy who created Spider-Man and Mr. A and the like. Look at this. Look at this crowd scene. Oh my gosh. You don't see stuff like this in modern comics. The reason they don't do it, this doesn't ever work, is because expensive art obviously requires a lot of people to buy it, and that's the problem. Is nobody cares about comics. Nobody cares about anything unless it says Batman on it, and it's a tough thing. Even back then, it's even tougher now. But I just wanted to highlight that because this is your stealth promotion of random things. Look up Fantasy Illustrated and see if there's some good stuff for you. Now let's get into this. This was the video that dropped yesterday, 63,000 views. The cartoonists who destroyed the comic book industry, it of course went in on your Boi Zack, and he was measured, didn't really criticize him too much, but he did talk about the lawsuit and how your Boi Zack's really fallen off on his audience and the like. As you can see, just remember the time they tried to take a hero named Safe Space. Most people were just talking about Marvel on here. But it seems like people came over from this and actually went to your Boi Zack's channel and remembered that he was there again. And your Boi Zack lost another 100 subscribers from it. Not very many because nobody really pays attention on the internet. If you got 63,000 people, it's really difficult to find 100 people to hit unsubscribe. We would love to find 100 people to hit subscribe, by the way. We're getting very close to 10,000 subscribers. And I appreciate you guys being here. Now, what is the big takeaway of this is how rattled he got, though. You can see he used to do these community posts over and over and over again that just attacked Nerdrotic, recently attacking Eric July is so bad, over and over again. And you can see that there's now nothing past 2 years ago. And this 2 years ago is about when he had this kind of change in heart to where he stopped actually covering the negative things going on at Marvel and DC Comics and started covering just hating right-wing people on YouTube instead. And so this is where it all went, and he obviously very, very rattled, deleted all of his community posts here that were actually talking about any of the stuff that he's done. Now, this is the second time he's done this. He did this before. Back in January, he deleted a bunch of community posts and actually made a video saying he was going to kind of back off on YouTube and start focusing on his comics again. Every time he says he does it, I'm like, please do it. Like, we would love that for you to just get back on track again. We don't want anybody to hurt over here. We just want people to be back on track. And unfortunately, like that lasted a few weeks, and then he went right back into the same thing over and over again. Even was posting this morning, just attacking Eric July for Eric July's new animation crowdfund initiative, which animation's very expensive to make, and Eric July, doesn't want to just pour his money into that. He wants to see if there's demand for it. That's what crowdfund's for. And your Boi Zack seems to forget that as a person who crowdfunds. That's what you kind of see, what there is demand for, and then try to move in that direction as it goes along. It's a very helpful tool in that regard to see what the audience wants. It's a really cool thing Eric July is doing, again, and it's something like, hey, we all wish we could be in that space and have a big enough following to even attempt those sorts of things, because it's very expensive, and I don't think I could fund an animated short with the audience here. But at the same time, he just poo-poos it as if it's like bad for somebody to do that. It's crazy. And that's exactly why he's losing his following and why the whole Comics Matter, ComicsGate, whatever has all fallen off, because this didn't follow up on what they were supposed to do. And that's exactly what Marvel and DC have always done throughout these years, not follow up on what they're supposed to do, which is produce great comics. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us as we talk about all things comics. We're building a lot here. I showed off a lot of projects this weekend in one of my videos, and you can get on my newsletter. Make sure you don't lose touch with me because it's very important. You never know about these algorithms. Get a free graphic novel for doing so. Really appreciate you being here. We'll be back soon.